Hello, everybody, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are back here for another episode of Atari Twilight. This one is called The Legend of Zelda. Here with me is the full cast and crew, and you get to see Meta's shiny, beautiful face in her new costume as Shannon. So we'll start with you, Meta. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And who are you playing today?
Hi guys, I'm Metamancer. You guys can find me on my Twitch channel or on Twitter, or on Encounter Roleplay, or here. I have a tendency to bounce around to RP channels. That's my cat using the litter box. I'm sorry. I'm playing Shannon, who is a troublemaker, 14-year-old with an attitude that's probably in way over her head. Should be interesting.
Should be interesting. People are commenting that Greg got way less attractive. I'm sorry, Mr. Bitters, but you're in Greg's spot, and, you know, I guess you can't stand up to that. But while we're talking about you, Mr. Bitters, who are you, where can we find you on the internet, and who are you playing today?
I'm Mr. Bitters, and I had to unmute myself. You can find me here. I hate everything. Mostly Mike. I don't know why yet today. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
And I played Jerry Baker. He's a big fat troublemaker, and he had superpowers. We'll see where that goes.
We'll see what Greg has done to that. Speaking of Greg, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And tell us about this game.
Well, that's a tall order. Yeah, my name is Greg Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. Tonight we will be playing a little bit of Free League's Tales from the Loop. This is a RPG in the 80s that never was, specifically in the fictional town of Garrett, Maryland, where we have several kids that are experiencing oddities. In the fall now of 1987, tonight's is Legend of Zelda. If you are fans of the original gold-cased game that you could save for the very first time, you will not be disappointed, as I have dropped a couple Triforcean Easter eggs in. We will see, though.
Sweet. I'm super down for this. Big Zelda fan. Mike, who are you? Where can I find you on the internet? And who are you playing today?
So I'm Mike, the Anonymous Rhino. I'm on Twitter at @BaloneySlap. I'm playing George Butts. He is the Princess Zelda.
God.
Of this campaign.
Damn it. It is true. We do need to save you a lot. You have flowing hair. Oh, no. Clearly the, what's her name? Is it Navi? I'm not a Zelda. I didn't play that game.
The fairy?
That's what I said. Yeah, the fairy. It's Navi, right?
Navi.
Yeah. Clearly the Navi of the campaign. Frags, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And who are you playing today?
Hey, you. Listen. I'm Kendall. I'm KW Frags. You can, like most everyone, find me here or in the Discord or on Twitter, all same name and stuff. I am playing Robot. He is a weird kid who's trying to figure out where his life is going to take him. Is it going to be a leader? Is it going to be a follower? We don't know. Is he a legitimate son of Optimus Prime? Time will tell.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
Perfect. So before we get into things here, guys, I will remind you we do have a sponsor. Go check them out. It's the Dice of Rolling. It is a full set of polyhedral dice featuring optimized quantities and fun colors for D&D 5e. The holidays are right around the corner, so scoop those dice up and throw those in those stocking stuffers for all those tabletop nerds that you have in your family. Also, check out our new Patreon, and don't forget there are unique donations down below if you want to interact with the show. With that, Greg, take us away to the 80s that never was.
Alrighty, my friends. Well, the last time that we met back here after using our flux capacitors to reach 1987, we were introduced to a walking, talking, fully fleshed out Shannon. And as Shannon was able to interact with the group for the first time with a Steve McQueenian entrance, revving a motorbike over a chain link fence, several other things occurred. As we had the police chief who had caused so many problems for the group, particularly Ben McKenzie, left mysteriously after an electrifying altercation with Jerry. But as the days turned into nights and sunsets and sunrises and a continuance of the normalcy of the world, it was a meeting at the hospital, or particularly in an effort to save their friend Ben McKenzie or ascertain his safety, that they were confronted with a notification that the town of Garrett had lost all power, save for a brilliant red searchlight in the sky. When they talked to Ben about these things, he was able to communicate via some type of written, automatic writing, some type of spatial awareness beyond his current coma set. And he told Shannon in particular that he could hear what they were doing in there, and he could hear the enemy. And then he wrote one word: Devastator. And as the group was able to then follow and head to the school where the light was shining in the sky, we ended the episode with the following revelation: that the group that you see before you of Mitch, George, Rob, Jerry, and Shannon, when joined with Sam, Veronica, and Chris, and Mr. Derry, could see the symbol. And Mr. Derry turned to the group and said, "Well, I guess you guys better call me Spike." And as that ended, and as the information that was gleaned from those events played out, a little time has passed as we are now Friday, November 20th, 1987. The week ahead brings Thanksgiving. The week ahead brings snow in the forecast for Garrett, Maryland. But more importantly, the week ahead brings a return. And so if everyone would queue up, but keep, if you can possibly do it, there are some people in this world that need to crank their Bon Jovi. Not us, though. We're just going to turn on a little bit, get it at about a 5, some Wanted, Dead or Alive. So allow that to creep out. And as it begins, I would like all of my players, you are placed wherever it is that you are sleeping. So tell me, with the absence of the police chief, you can return to your homes for those of you that have been staying at the Falcon, Astro Train, or Teletran 2. If you choose to stay there, simply let me know. And then we will finally get to Shannon, and she will describe her house, her room, her parents, and whatever she comes up with will be canon, as Shannon does not have any of those in my mind. But I'll start with Mitch. Where are you, Mitch?
Mitch is still staying in Teletran 2. Mitch has a puzzle. Mitch has several puzzles. What's happening? Who is my dad? Can I build this goddamn robot? And what is this Energon thing for? So he is spending every free scrap of time, when not back in school because he has returned to school, with a forged absentee slip from his mother. And he is spending every spare scrap of time he has working on any one of these issues, trying to figure out what they mean and how they can all be pieced together, and what's happening in the town of Garrett, Maryland.
Fantastic. Rob, where are you when head hits pillow at night? Where are you staying?
Rob's gonna be sleeping at his house. Like he doesn't feel like he's in that much danger. He just feels like he's been more or less an accessory to everything, and less a prime evil of sorts in how everything's played out. So he's gonna continue to go home and chill, but he will go back to the Teletran every evening and help out with whatever's going on. May invite people to, if anybody wants to stay with him. You know, that's fair game too. Of course, you can't stay every night.
Okay. Because of the way you described it, I'd like you to roll a lead roll for me, even as we're going through the prelude. So the question I ask you before we pull away from the room of Robot is that if Rob is still thinking himself simply an accessory, or not, as you called it, the prime evil, he wasn't directly implicated in any of these things, is he still a follower, or is he moving towards that leadership role that he believes Optimus wants of him? And we go over to George. George, where can we find you?
I'm probably at home, I would say. I'd probably be having a conversation with my mother about where my dad is, considering he's probably a villain. So kind of asking, has he been home anytime recently? We're going on a month or so.
Yeah, she has said, as you're going on about 7 weeks since your father has disappeared, he's been calling your mom, talking to her. Surprisingly, every time he calls, you are either at school or out. She seems perfectly content with his absence. It is explained as simply loop work, as he is very important, Georgie, and the only time that she ever says is he always asks about you, whether or not you're doing well in school and if you're keeping up with your marbles.
I forgot about the marbles. Okay. The other thing would be what's the Sam situation? Because it's been a couple weeks after the rooftop and she was there. Kind of like, is she still secluded? Is she?
Yep, we'll get to a placement, and you have a new mechanic that's going to come into play, everybody. So this is going to be very much like Mass Effect here in a moment, but as George is in his bed asleep, I'm going to go now to Bitters. Bitters, what's Jerry doing? Where is he sleeping? And yeah.
Jerry's gone back home since the heat kind of died down. He felt like he was probably needed at home, but he's also kind of been a little aloof, maybe a little more distant from his friends since the whole incident. So he's probably spending the majority of time alone. Like he'll pop in and head to Teletrain every now and again and like lend a hand, but there's just something not in Jerry that there was before all of this.
Interesting. Okay. So Jerry is at home. And finally, as we go over to Meta, I will ask, when Shannon's head hits the pillow, where is she staying? What is her home like? Who are her parents and or guardians? Siblings? You don't have to give me all of that at once, but let's hear a little bit about Shannon.
All right. Yeah, Shannon goes back home. Her mother works a lot, and her father actually works off-site military stuff. So he's not home most of the time. Her mom's not home most of the time either because she's working. I would say that her mom's probably... she probably works in like the public government offices or something. I'm setting it up so Shannon's obviously rebellious because both her parents are all about authority and rules. So that's where she kind of gets a lot of her resistances, I think, from. But her house is fairly nice. It's a median income family, and she convinced her parents to let her live in a makeshift room above the garage. So that's where she hangs out. She's made it her own kind of personal space. She kind of semi-adopted a stray cat named Kismet, she called him, and they hang out on occasion. He comes by when she's around. She feeds him and lets him into her bedroom to hang out from that perspective. But yeah, she's just kind of enjoying herself, being alone. She likes being alone. To kind of rethink everything that's happened, especially after discovering all the things and seeing all the things that she has seen, trying to make heads or tails of what it all means and how it's related to the disappearance of her friends.
Okay, fantastic. Because as we explained in the narrative before, Shannon has been leading her own investigation into the events that began back in June of '87 with the first episode of The Predator. And so she has reached the conclusion, as we said last time, that there are strange things afoot, and that this group that she formally introduced herself last week is involved with in some way. And so before we get beyond the point of when eyes close and dreams begin, I will say this. Because of the events of last week, where we had Mr. Derry, we had Chris, and we had Sam and Veronica join you all on the roof, able to see the symbol in the sky, all of those characters are now active NPCs that you can petition for assistance. As this is Tales from the Loop, adults cannot help you beyond giving you information. Therefore, if you can't, Spike can only do so many things. Mr. Derry, his mindset and his ability to aid you lies in the scientific, in technology and things of that nature. He will talk with you and speak with you as much as he can, but as we wouldn't have been able to display in earlier episodes, he is very concerned that there are ears and eyes watching everywhere. And so any type of in-depth discussion would have to be planned out, and you guys could do it. It would just be something that would require RP to set up. Now, to explain Sam's kind of removal from the group, her parents were in the process of splitting up. And so she is spending time both with father and with mother. The character will remain a part of the narrative. Garrett Maryland will have Sam Kirkshaw in play in specific times, not for this episode, as she is out of town for Thanksgiving. And so when it comes time and when certain events may occur, Sam will come back into play. As for Chris met on the rooftop, said nothing to you all. He was wearing what looked to be scrubs or some type of uniform depicting it wasn't a jumpsuit or anything that would look like incarceration, but it was similar in its cut. He had shoes on that had no laces, and you all had been told that he had been sent to a mental health facility downstate. He disappeared off the roof, didn't speak with any of you, and it was in the Garrett Times that you saw that the boy he was taken from the facility, they were saying, potentially kidnapped. He couldn't have left because his door was locked. So they're not sure if it was an inside job, as employees and state officials have been interviewed trying to figure out exactly what happened to this young man. You all know that was or is in Garrett. Whereabouts right now, unknown. So, as everybody puts their head to their pillow with the events of months floating through and these individual experiences with all of these strange phenomenon, I would ask the chat of both Twitch and the audience of YouTube to cue up a little Crowded House, Don't Dream It's Over. And as that begins to act as a blanket for all of our slumbering kids, the following happens. Mitch, Rob, George, and Jerry, you are all individually transported to the house that did not exist. The full house that had all of those people that popped out that no one else could see, who ran throughout the town, who you were able to stop at the dance before they were able to poison. But you're aware that this is not real. This is definitely a dreamscape of some kind, but the way in which you're receiving this information is decidedly more clear than it would be in a normal dream. And all of you are in the same positions you were when, you didn't call them this yet, but when the Decepticons issued this statement to you all. We know you can see us. Your families and friends cannot. When we return, stay out of our way, or you will have less families and friends. And so, as you're standing there, each of you individually replaying this moment over and over, as the Decepticon stands on the glass grass, you hear it, and the voice gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And you all awake with a start, drenched and covered in sweat. What seemed to be 5 to 10 minutes of sleep was an entire night as the sun is rising over the hills of Garrett, Maryland. Shannon, you experienced no such dream, at least not one that has a house with glass grass. Instead, you are gifted with a vision of a woman you do not know. But to aid in your observation and your knowledge, your mind's eye drags across the mailbox of a residence, and it says butts. And as it drags in, piercing through wall and window, glass and wood, you see a woman asleep in a large bed with a floral print comforter on it. A woman by the age you could guess would probably be George's mother. And as you're able to witness this, you see that on the nightstand beside her, and on the blind side of the bed is a pile of dirt. You see that she has pieces of grass stuck between her teeth, that there is a muddy rivulet mixed with saliva as it drips down her chin, staining the sheets of the bed, staining the floral print comforter. In her hand is gripped a wad of turf as the grass pushes up through the fingers. You see that she's chewing absently, almost like a cow, just mindlessly jawing. And you see that she's weeping as tears mix with the mud. And in between the chews, you hear her saying, "Georgie, Georgie, Georgie." And Shannon, you too wake up. George, you wake up and you do not smell any breakfast being cooked. You do not smell coffee in a pot. You do not hear your mom moving.
So the question being, George doesn't wake himself up. Obviously, in his alarms doesn't do it. So he just kind of waits for his mom to wake him up. I'm assuming that never happens.
All of you simultaneously awoke with a jerk. You were forced awake from unconsciousness to consciousness at the termination of the dream, where the woman in front of the house that never was spoke that dread warning to you guys back in episode 3. And as you woke up, it is in that forced awakening that you look around and you see no signs of normalcy in the Butts household. No sounds, no smells. It doesn't take a roll to know that something's not right.
Right. So is this Saturday morning or Friday morning that this happens? Because we started on the 20th, which is a Friday.
Yeah, this would be Friday. So the action
Friday
begins. Yeah, the action begins on Friday the 20th. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I look around the house for her, and I imagine my room's not far from hers, so I guess I start in the bedroom, see if she's at least awake, showering or something, just any modicum of evidence of life.
Yeah, roll and investigate for me.
Oh no. Nope. She's a great hider.
You don't. She is. She's really good at it. You don't hear anything coming from your mom's room, but you do, as you test the knob, realize the door is locked. And without the need for a roll, as it is also something that is just by its inclusion different and requires notice, you hear the sounds of a siren, and they appear to be getting closer.
What'd you do, Greg? What'd you do? Okay, so police sirens ambulance, fire, all three, two of them. They all have different sounds.
I will tell you this: it is not a continental European. That's it. It sounds like a siren, though. Definitely North American.
Okay, well, that's good, I guess. So much better now. So the door's locked. She's not. I called out for her, like, Mom. I'm not going to say how I would normally say it, which is my mom's Italian, so it'd be different. Ma. Exactly. Yeah, all you have to do is like this, and she'll wake up and she'll give you food. So she's like not responding at all. Like, I'm running through the house at this point, turning on all the lights and like checking everywhere, closets. Check the backyard. Is there any fresh? Is she back out there eating more dirt? Anything like that?
Roll and investigate for me.
All right. It went so well the first time. Yeah.
You don't notice the dirt that's traveled in past the tile from the outside of the sliding glass door, nor on the outside on the brick up through the carpet. But what you do notice, once again, because of its omission, it's a glaring detail. There are several perfectly circular cuts made in the lawn, but they seem to be arranged in such a way as it takes you actively kind of stepping out towards the edge of the brick patio to be able to spot a couple of them. There's about 24.
I'm assuming the sirens are getting louder and louder as I search.
They are. In fact, it gets so loud that it seems to be right outside as you hear this, and then you hear the sound of doors opening.
I look out a window. Is it police? Is it?
It is an ambulance. There are EMTs rushing from the large boxy ambulance of the 80s, like a Dodge Traveler type of van. And as the side slides open and the back wardrobe doors burst, you see several people jump out and kind of prep the area, but two of them run forward, their windbreakers denoting EMT on the back, as they reach the door and begin to pound on the door itself.
Like, George is freaking out, so he runs to the door and he opens it up and he's immediately asking, "What's wrong? Why are you here?"
As soon as they see you, they look around. There's a woman needs help. There's a woman in here that needs help.
I don't know. I can't find my mom. I didn't call you guys, though. I literally just woke up.
They turn and look at each other. Where is your mom?
I just told you I don't know.
Is that her car? And they point to the driveway, and there's your mom's car.
Yeah.
Have you checked her room? And one of them begins to move past you up kind of like the split level stairs up to the top level of the house.
Yeah, I at this point, Decepticons or not, George doesn't care. He can get away if he needs to, or he'll try to. He takes him to the room, like, this is it. And he jiggles the knob and everything, and it's locked.
Do you know how to unlock this?
No. I guess not. I don't know.
They pound on the door. Ma'am, Mrs. Butts, ma'am. And they're pounding on it. We're going to break this. And he gets back and he prepares to throw his shoulder into this door. Do you allow that to happen?
Yeah, we have money. We can always make a new one.
Okay. We've got money. So you see it, one shoulder in, and then a burst. And as the door splinters, taking a bit of it's an interior door, so it's not a heavy bolt or anything that's holding it to the frame, but it's enough to kind of rip the catch off of the frame. And there you see in her bed, your mom, as she is mindlessly staring at the ceiling, chewing with these brown river of saliva and dirt crusting onto the front of her whatever she would wear to sleep in, as the bed around her is stained and muddy, and she has a fistful of this turf as she bites into it and fills her mouth beyond the capacity to truly and effectively chew. And as she continues to bite and tear through that, her eyes lock onto you, George, and she starts whispering, Georgie, Georgie. And they rush to her as they begin to rip the grass out of her hands. One of them is trying to using his own fingers, is actively pulling out of her mouth this muddy mess. And when it's flung off to the side, you realize that there's red mixed in it too, where she's potentially not even chewing just the dirt, but the cheek and everything else as she's staring at you with this going on. One of the other EMTs rushes in, and you see that they have a portable gurney with them. It's not wheeled as there are stairs in this area, and they are beginning to put your mom on this. At any point, George, you can act or do something. They appear to be ignoring you for the time being as they are attending to your mom.
I think George is freaking out. Honestly, I think he's like he can't get in the way. I think he's kind of frozen in this scenario, especially when he sees the red along with it. So I think he's like probably like backed against the wall, probably crying.
Okay.
Freaking the fuck out.
I want you to make an empathize roll for me, please, to see exactly how this affects you upon seeing your mom.
Man, I'm nothing but consistent tonight with my roll stats. So.
Right. I would like you to take a scared condition as you are seeing your mom in this state. And as the narrative would dictate it, you are kind of drawn into this place. What this will do is, until you meet up with your friends or you are able to kind of be calmed down in a safe area, then you are going to need an extra success on certain things that we roll here. So as of right now, George, you are in a bad way. Your mom is being carted out of here, and it's not until they get her almost down and loaded into the ambulance that they turn and they see you wearing, what does George wear to bed?
Oh, he's in whitey tighties and that's it.
So they look up in the crisp November air of Garrett, Maryland, as this middle school boy wearing his tighty whities and visibly shook. One of the EMTs whips off the windbreaker that he has on, wraps you in it, and motions towards the ambulance as they drive off. And he says, "Son, let me take you down to the hospital. Let's get something on you."
Yeah, I think he just complies at this point. He just, whatever clothes he was wearing yesterday, he picks him up off the floor and starts walking out.
Okay. So
he, of course, grabs his Mitchy Talkie, which is like, he has like a, like people have like that preparation bag, like house is on fire, I got to grab this and it has everything I need kind of thing. Or,
you got to go bag.
It's one of those, and it's a Mitchy Talkie and like his comb and stuff like that in it.
Okay. So with the Mitchy Talkie and the comb placed perfectly and in areas of prominence in your go bag, you are able to grab said go bag. And as the narrative continues, we're going to say that George is spending the next few minutes getting to the hospital and then being placed into a private waiting room as his mom is,
Mm-hmm.
So I just saw that, and as the EMT, whose name is Edward, is taking George out of the house, you can see that there is a second public car has shown up. Like, it's not an ambulance for the hospital, but it's definitely a car of the hospital as it pulls forward. And it isn't until you see it that you realize it would be what people would call in a bad police, the meat wagon. This is a hearse that is sent to pick up bodies. And as the ambulance was on its way, so was this. And it pulls up, but it's now offering you a ride to the hospital. But it is at that time, as you walk down your driveway past your mother's car, there is the revving of a finely tuned motorcycle as Shannon, you see George being taken out of the house towards the meat wagon.
I would yell out, George. She's pulling up very quickly. What happened?
My mom, I don't know. She was not responding, and I didn't even call an ambulance. But thankfully, they showed up, and then this thing fucking shows up.
Don't go with them. We're gonna follow that ambulance.
Okay.
Something is really off.
No, this is not good. I
Does
didn't.
this have to do with grass? Just answer yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. Bad.
Wait.
I'll explain on the way. She's gonna note down the license plate of the hearse.
Okay. And Edward doesn't offer any resistance, but he seems concerned. Are you going to the hospital? Son, we can take you.
No,
I
I'll
don't-
take him.
No, I want to go with her.
And
He's my
then
best friend, so I'm gonna make sure he's okay.
Best
roll a
friend.
charm. Roll a charm, best friend.
Oh, this is gonna be so bad. I have nothing in charm. Come on.
Oh man, I can't assist or anything, can I?
He looks and his eyes narrow. Listen, there's not enough room for two on that bike. You're not even wearing a helmet. Listen, you can both ride. It's just let me get the boy to the
While
hospital.
he's talking, I just get on the back, and I said, you're not, tap her shoulder. I was gonna say you're not the police and flick him off, but that's not my character. He's not gonna do that.
It's Shannon's character.
That's Shannon's character. Yeah.
Wait, and then I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you guys are riding through Garrett, Maryland in the aforementioned crisp November air. I'm going to stick with you guys. What's your destination here?
I mean, I'm following the ambulance if I can find it after all that.
I mean, if the route to the hospital is to be believed, Garrett's a very small place. So you're able to see when you go down the slight rise from the more opulent sections of Garrett where George lives. And as you go down the hill, you see that there is a ambulance currently outside at the emergency room entrance exit, and you don't see anybody being offloaded, but the back doors, the wardrobe doors at the back of the ambulance are still open.
Okay. Was this the ambulance that they took your mom in?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a small town, so I guess.
Okay, go inside and ask where they brought her, and I'll look around.
All right. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be inside in a minute. Just hang in there.
And he walks in. Is the pretty nurse there?
The pretty nurse that you had talked to before? Yeah, the one that you had went up and said that Rob tends to have these episodes, and that one? Yeah. Let's see, why don't you roll me
Contact, maybe?
I'm gonna ask you to roll just a straight heart here, but you're gonna need 2 successes as you are currently scared and in a state of.
How about no successes? How about that?
No, yeah. Not only is she not there, you're pretty sure she's been let go. Like somehow she must have done something. She was caught stealing prescription medication. No, you don't know that. She's not there, but there are several people here. I will let you know this, George. As soon as you hit the door, which had previously been the automatic doors that had been partially open, you see that there are so many medical personnel in here. There's a police officer that's over in the corner. Without having the need to roll, and because you have the scared condition, you're a bit paranoid, and you believe that if you walk in here, walking back out might not be as easy.
I think I bolt. I think I'm just too shaken by any of this to have to, he already knows like there's bad people out there, so I think he just runs back out and like runs. He doesn't like try to nonchalantly do it. He just like bolts out.
We're going to say that whole little thing takes maybe about 2 minutes as you kind of like slowly approach the door, look in. maybe 90 seconds or so. I will give Shannon that much time as she had something she wanted to do with the ambulance itself as far as investigation.
I just want to find out if there's any information about if this is actually I don't know what they do in the back of ambulances, if they take identification or anything like that. So anything to confirm that his mother was actually brought here via the ambulance.
Okay, as you peek into the back, I'd like you to roll me an investigate. There is no virtual tabletop love for anyone tonight.
Nope.
It is a good time for me to remind that pushing is a thing, or not pushing. If you want to use luck is a thing. You don't have to, of course, use it now. And then you guys do have your 1 pride per session if you want to blow it for an automatic success. As it stands, when you look in, Shannon, you can see that there is definitely a state of unrest, as you would believe there to be in any type of emergency response. However, instead of blood or anything else, there's just dirt and mud on top of the kind of loose sheet that is used on top of the gurney. It's a rubber strapped sheet to keep the person in place while they're riding, but that's stained and there are kind of clumps of dirt everywhere. But there's doesn't look like you can't find any type of pocketbook or a purse or handbills or anything like that. Driver's license, nothing.
Okay. Well, I guess I would go to look where George is.
Yeah, he'd be coming back out towards you probably at a rapid pace.
Okay. Is she here?
I don't know. There's a lot of police, and I freaked out, and I couldn't be there.
Okay. I'll go inside and ask. Do you want to stay out here?
I'll go with you.
Are you sure?
We'll find out.
Do you want me to punch you or something? I don't know.
Please don't. I'm already down.
Okay. I'll go towards the front desk area to find for a patient.
As soon as you walk forward, the older lady behind the counter, there's a lot of just general hustle and bustle, even in a small town emergency room like this. And she'll say, "I'm sorry, who are you looking for? And your relationship to the patient?"
Daughter, Mrs. Butts.
Roll a charm for me.
Come on. Don't hate me, dice, please. Yes.
She shows a bit of compassion and she says, "Honey, the phone goes off," and she picks it up and cradles it in her hand. "Honey, they just took her back. As soon as I hear anything, just have a seat over there. I'll let you know. What's your name, honey?"
Shannon Butts.
Okay, Shannon.
Thank you.
And she kind of notes you and...
Okay. And she turns to George and she's like, "She's here? I'm your mom's daughter, okay, for right now. So if you want to sneak around or something, I can keep her," she points to the front desk lady, distracted if she starts paying attention.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'll skulk around and see what I can find. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, as you begin to move off, I would like both of you to roll me a sneak roll, because it is at that time that the meat wagon pulls up and the EMT that had been assisting jumps out and heads inside.
I don't know.
Okay.
I want to use the luck.
Go right ahead. Yeah.
Well, all right.
So this is what I'm going to ask Shannon. Meta, you see them coming. You see them heading right towards the glass doors. You can tell that the EMT has spotted his jacket that George still had on as he's coming in through the glass doors. You have a moment to either stay by George's side, but you think that if you kind of slid off to the right among the rest of the milling about people, you might be able to go unseen.
Fuck. I have a cat trying to kill me.
I always love scope, by the way. That's like one of my favorite things we just see.
Thundercats was last episode.
Oh my god. I'm gonna slink off.
Okay. So, Shannon, as soon as you kind of just turn and kind of duck your head, you disappear among some of the other people that are there. Oh, have you seen my father? Oh, he just came. You kind of just disappear into the crowd of other emergency room patients and families. And as you disappear into that area, George, the guy bursts in. He goes, "Son, are you okay?" And then at this point, there's a crowd that begins to form around George as the EMT. "It's okay, son. Let me take you back here. Let me get you with your mom." And he and several of the nurses, "Oh my God, it's the Butts boy," as they come forward, people that know your mom, because your mom knows a lot of people in this town because her line of work is
Geriatric sex therapy.
Geriatric sex therapy. That's correct. And as a therapist to a surprising number of Garrett residents, she has a working knowledge, though it's not, even though this is before HIPAA, it's confidentiality, but everyone knows and everybody seems very comfortable with stating that they do know your mom. And they just descend upon you when they realize, in their eyes, your mom is one of them, a medical professional. One of theirs just came in on a gurney, so they are attending to her. And if they can't be one of the ones attending to her, well, by God, they're going to take care of her son. And within moments, you have 5 or 6 medical people around you.
As they get closer, thank you, and he backs up, and you can see he feels like he's a cornered animal right now. I want to be left alone right now, and I just want to see my mom. So just leave me alone.
Absolutely. It's you're getting 8 or 9 different suggestions at a time as it comes. "You need something to drink, honey. Here, oh my God, this jacket's not warm enough." They're ushering you out of the emergency room, waiting room, into what would be, because you've been here before to see Ben, the ICU waiting room, which is deeper into the hospital. It's someplace that, once a patient is admitted, then you can go to this place. But they're already kind of taking you down the hall in that direction. Shannon, you would see this happening as well.
Does anybody else get out of the hearse?
Not that you see.
Is there a security officer at the hospital?
There seems to always be a police officer here. In all likelihood, because Garrett's so small, it's one of those things where, hey, if you're traveling around, just make sure you stop at the hospital for 15 minutes out of every 2 hours or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to convince the police officer that the people driving the hearse have been following me around town.
Okay, so as you approach, acting police chief Simmons, I would like you to roll a charm roll.
Okay.
Acting police chief Simmons received this job because the former chief was a super creep, a potential murderer, and he's doing everything in his power to clean up Garrett in his mind and making sure that everything goes back to the way it was. And what do you say to him specifically as you approach?
Yeah, I go over and I'm not being overimposing with my body language. I'm trying to not be charming, but like, not be overly rebellious. And oh, hey, Police Chief Simmons, I'm really sorry to bother you, but I'm really kind of worried. There's been people following me to the hospital from my friend's house, and I think that they're trying to hurt me or my friend, and I'm not really sure what's going on, but I think it might be they follow me here to the hospital. They're right outside.
And he looks at you with a deadly seriousness that it's not naivete where he's just accepting what you're saying. Like I said, this man is desperately consumed with wanting to right the wrongs of his predecessor. Okay, just I'll walk with you, and you point him out to me. I'm sure
Okay.
this is a misunderstanding, but if not, I'll get to the bottom of this.
Okay, yeah. So I gotta go over, and I very shyly point at the hearse, trying to avoid them seeing me specifically, if possible. They're right in there.
He seems to hold up for a moment when he notices that the hearse is one of the hospital vehicles, but he moves past it, kind of dismissing that thought, more of having to solve a mystery or make you feel safe. He kind of leans forward and opens up the passenger side door and looks in. And he looks around and even goes back and opens up the long back trap as he opens it up and looks in. Did you see what they look like? There's no one in here.
No, it's just been following me. They never got out of the car.
Okay. Let me go in and check with the persons in charge of the duty roster. See who had access to this car. See who's been driving it. You want to wait out here or?
No, I'll wait inside.
Okay, and so Shannon, you're able to go in, and as he goes in, you see that Officer Simmons or Police Chief Simmons goes over and he begins to talk with one of the people kind of further in the back beyond admitting. And, he doesn't point to you at all, but he kind of gestures past you towards where the vehicle is. And as all of this is going on, you realize that George is gone from the area, having been swept deeper into the hospital. And as all of this is going around, it's about 5 or 6 minutes when finally the acting police chief comes back and he sits down beside you and he says, that vehicle wasn't supposed to be out today. It was it's in the garage for maintenance, but I'm going to find out who took it out, and I'm going to talk to him. Okay? But if you see this vehicle or any vehicle following you, you call the station. They'll get a hold of me on the radio, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No, you're welcome. And he gets up. Let's do a empathize here.
God. Okay. Wow.
You don't know this guy well enough to know exactly how he is. He seems just like your typical cop. He's a little bit more caring perhaps than you've seen exhibited, but beyond that you can't glean any additional information. Are you going to stay here, Shannon, as George has been taken deeper into the hospital?
No, I'm probably gonna start heading towards that area. I want to see if anybody notices me going to do that, but other than that, just kind of casually slip into the ICU area.
Okay, you're gonna go try to get deeper, and I'd like you to roll a sneak for me, please. And then, if you want, before you roll anything, Meta, you can roll a spot hidden and then a sneak, or a sneak and then a spot hidden. The difference being, spot hidden first if anybody is looking at you just walking around, and then you sneak to go into the ICU. The sneak and then spot hidden would be to see if anybody follows you into the ICU.
What would spot hidden be in this sheet?
Investigate.
Because, with a million
I know.
different systems.
Cthulhu. I
forget.
get it. I'm with you. I was like, wait a minute. Let me find the equivalent here. I'm gonna sneak first and then make sure nobody follows me.
So as you kind of stand beside the doors that George disappeared through and you duck and go back in, Shannon, this is in the exact same path towards the room of Ben McKenzie. So you're getting a little bit more familiar with this access point to the inner workings of the Garrett Memorial Hospital. And as you turn and walk down a bit, you notice that you kind of duck around a corner. And as you go around the corner, you let your eye trail just for a second, and you see the door swing open again on its own accord as they're powered. And you see the EMT that gave the jacket to George come in and look around and begin to pad in the direction towards you. And we're going to leave it at there right now as we skip down to, I will ask Mr. Bitters what Jerry had been doing after he had this dream, and I will ask Frags what Rob had been doing as he had this dream, and then I will ask Mitch what was your reaction to the dream that you had.
Jerry's probably been sleeping relatively late, so this dream woke him up earlier than usual. I imagine he's been pretty shaken by the inner workings of his own mind lately. So it may not seem to bother him all that much outwardly. But I think knowing that Mitch has still been out at Teletran 1 or Teletran 2, he'd probably just kind of let himself out of the house, not even saying a word to his parents, and hop on his bike to head out there, because the dream is associated with the stuff that's been happening to them. He kind of just assumes this is more of the same, and he's got to go convene with his friends.
Gotcha. So you jump on your bike and you head towards Teletran 2 down into the grav truck graveyard. Frags, what is Rob doing?
Rob's gonna wake up a bit panicked at first, knowing that this means something. This has to mean something. What can it mean? And then he realizes that this is what he needs to do today. He needs to get his friends, and they need to go check out where they saw that house. They need to go look for clues. This is going to be a hard drive for him. So with that confidence bolster, he knows, okay, I'm gonna when I get to Teletran, instead of doing the normal humdrum crap and trying to figure out when and where, Rob had a vision. He's going to try to bring this to them as, his defining moment as the one who makes the decisions. And so he's just going to walk downstairs. Parents probably ignoring him, so he's just going to hop on his bike after he gets dressed, grabs a helmet, and head out to the Teletran, or whatever we've named it now. We have like 3 different names for it.
Yes, it's the Falcon, Astro Train, or Teletran 2.
Yeah.
But I also think that your commitment to the absolute indifference of Rob's parents is fantastic and absolutely heartbreaking. You have stayed true every time you've entered the house. They've never said hi to you. You've always said that they're right there. And as you go upstairs, Rob has always said hi to them. They have never replied. He goes down, he says, they've never replied. They could give 2. And if there's little things that break a GM's heart, it's that commitment to absolute atrocities against player characters that you like. And so thank you, sir, for the knife in the heart and the twist like it. And you're heading to get the guys presumably down to Teletran and the Falcon, and from there perhaps take the leadership role that you believe is your destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Mitch, what are you doing as you are jerked into consciousness?
What? So this would have to be late, right? Because Jerry's not here yet. So Mitch would have to be. Actually, I think Mitch probably would have woken up far earlier, but he's just in a way, right? This just further amplifies the fact that he needs to solve this conundrum, that he needs to figure out what these things are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how to stop them before things get worse. So I think the Teletran 2 is in a complete state of disarray. Whatever cleanup job they did when Sam came on board and whatever expansion job they did has now, like, his tools are everywhere. This is like the day that Marty walked into Doc Brown's shed. It's a mess, right? Things are everywhere, but he knows where everything is. And he's, I think the doors are open despite the cold chill in the air, and things are getting thrown out. He's working on all kinds of things. He's moving between, like, one project where they crank something and then moves over to another project, then cranks something else, and moves back to a third project and does some, turns some gears and knobs over here. And he's just in a complete state of disorganized disarray to the naked eye. He would have you believe that he has got everything under control, but in a state where his mom is slipping into sickness and dad is missing and maybe a robot, Mitch is losing it. Mitch is losing his grasp on what he needs to do, and he's coping by building and trying to problem solve. So I think that he's just thrown himself into this work and doesn't even recognize when the first person shows up, that they actually show up.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. Everything you said is absolutely 100% fact and canon, except for this. Mitch normally probably would have woken up earlier to get to work, but in this instance, whether it would be waking somebody from slumber as George was brought forth from the dream, this kept you sleeping until this moment where you all woke up. So if you normally would get up at 5:30 in the morning, you didn't get up until 6:45 or whenever this dream ended. As you awaken, though, in Teletran 2, and you look around at the Doc Brown mess that you have, I'd like everybody listening at home to cue up a little NXS new sensation, please, as I want you to roll and investigate as you kind of wake up and look around Teletran 2.
1 success.
Where before your banks of wiring and boxes of repair and soldering equipment, everything that you had, there is actual almost like LED lights that seem to be against one wall and up onto the roof of the Falcon, and it's carrying a pulse, almost like it looks like moving lights that would indicate an emergency exit on an airplane as it just stutters along, and it pulses up and down in this area. And as you look around, everything is still relatively where you left it, if you can remember exactly where things are placed. The only thing that really catches your eye, though, is that you see there is a screwdriver in the 3-fingered appendage of your robot.
What the shit? The dots, where are they? Like on the roof? Going out of the vehicle, or...?
It goes from like the windshield of the vehicle back along the wall and up onto the ceiling. It doesn't look like it goes outside, but it's pulsing.
And the pulse is moving like it's going out of the vehicle, like it's starting at the bed of the truck, or the cab of the truck, and moving towards the bed?
Correct. Yes, it's crawling from tip to tail.
I think he would notice that first. Like, he's probably moving back and forth between these different things, and then he sees, like, the light catches his eye as he's moving in between things. It's like a light that shouldn't be there, and he kind of stops, and I don't even think he places his tools down. He has his tools, and he walks towards. Now on these ships, like, I guess they're trucks. I don't know what the hell they are. Can you access the cab from the bed, or is it a complete separate unit?
Completely separate unit. The cabs in and of themselves would float, and much like the locomotive of a train, they would pull grav sleds behind them that just had a lift element and not the propulsion element. So, this is the locomotive of the floating train, and they would hook cars behind it. So there's just this area.
Okay. Yeah, I think like Mitch would lose, so he loses complete sense of whatever he was doing and is completely distracted by these lights, like a moth to a flame. And with whatever tool he has in his hand, he's walking towards where the lights are coming from and like looking where they're coming from, and then he's following them back to see if they lead somewhere, because he's done the majority of the work on this place and he didn't do this. And he doesn't remember it being done, and he can't remember a friend doing it or anyone else being here. So this has now garnered his entire, like, 100% attention.
Okay. As you get closer to the source of where these lights kind of tube out of the front and climb on the walls and up the ceiling, you see, as you get closer to the source of the lights, that spider-webbed out from these are additional wires that seem to be laying in almost like a lace work as they are creeping out from this main light tube wire, as it almost grabs hold of the side of the wall and the ceiling. It seems to almost be like a mesh.
And then he follows it back. Where does it go? Does it actually leave the vehicle, or does it just stop like it hasn't been built further, like a train track?
It stops as if it hasn't been completed.
Okay.
It definitely doesn't look like a natural terminus.
But it looks like it comes into the truck from where the cab is, right? Is that, I'm understanding that correctly?
Yep, the control panel up front, it seems to originate somewhere behind all of that, around the windows, and then creeps up. So
okay, yeah. So I think if he's in the bed of the truck, he sees that this is coming from somewhere. Again, that same sense of this isn't where it should be. And he drops whatever he's holding, and walking by his bench, he picks up his wrench and then begins to walk out of Teletran 2 in an attempt to move towards the cab of the truck, unless someone stops him.
We'll say by the time you get outside, both Jerry and Rob would be approaching, probably at various intervals, but because of the location of Teletran 2 and by design, when you kind of look to see in the back towards Garrett, it rises. So you can see approaching vehicles, whether they be bike or whether they be like automobile or truck. So you can see both of them coming. You're muted.
I'm muted. He notices this, but he's in such a fog that I don't even think he garners them a wave and just moves towards the front of the truck like a man on a mission. And by the time they get down, they would see him like wrenching the door open and trying to pull himself up into the cab of this truck.
Roll me and investigate as soon as you get into the cab.
Fuck yes, 2 successes.
When you get into the cab, you see that the entire panel, the flight control systems, the lift, the mag locks, the ability to trail different trailers, to the elevation, the lowering, the lateral controls, everything is not only repaired, but it seems to be illuminated with this high. Some of this stuff is almost like glowing with an internal light of something you've never seen before. There's almost like a black light quality to some of this illumination, as it's glowing more than it's producing light. And these tube lights continue into the cab, sink into the control panel, and you see that the pulses that are going out up these tubes originate in the very center of the control panel. And with reds, greens, yellows, and oranges, they almost wave out, hit the tubes, and ... Pulse, wave out, ... And you can only assume it continues into the back of the truck where you first saw it.
I would say by the time that Rob and Jerry get their way down there, you just hear that full-on 13-year-old nerd rage. Who touched my shit? Coming, like, echoing out of the cab of this truck, followed by scrambling noises of getting down before he even, like, really sees that they're there.
And you guys...
Someone touched my truck! Was it you? As they, like, skid to it. Were you in here? When I was sleeping? Messing with my truck? What happened?
First of all, take a chill pill, all right? Your truck is our truck, but what the fuck are you talking about?
Look! And he like swings the door open so you can see in there. I didn't do that, and I've been here for weeks.
I didn't do it.
Laser fingers?
My shoes have Velcro.
Maybe it was Sam or Butts.
I know you're trying to be funny right now, Rob, but it's not helping.
I was giving legitimate input.
Mrs. Butts cuts the crust off his sandwiches. He's not going to do this either.
Good point.
He hides his crust cut off sandwich. What are you guys here for?
I had a vision, and Rob's gonna do like the.
I love you so much. What?
We need to go back to the house. Rob's doing his best, like mystical, like commanding.
I just came from my house.
What are you talking about?
No, the disappearing one by where Butts lived.
Why?
I had a vision.
Of what? Of the house being there?
Of us at the house. Now, not then.
Wait, like a little while ago?
In his attempt to sound more like regal and pompous, he's going to say, in my slumber, yes.
I had a dream about the Decepticons too, but what? It's just like they just replayed what happened in the house.
You two had a vision?
No, Rob, I had a dream. Like a normal person.
Have you been hanging out at the paperback exchange?
No.
Because I hear if you like smell the books too much, you can start getting like Miss Maggie.
Yeah, if you ask Miss Maggie about the crystals a lot, she'll show you the crystals in the back room.
Do they give off bad vibes?
God, you're so dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a dream about the Decepticons too. And
Vision.
it reminded me that the last time we went to that house, it almost got Ben killed. And they warned us, and we didn't listen.
But we should go back and look for clues.
Do you think the house is there?
Well, at least a lot. There's gotta be something.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's right next door to Butts' house. We can go pick him up and go over there. I don't actually know how to contact Shannon.
Was that you saying that, or was that Mitch? Okay, I don't know. Blood sacrifice.
She doesn't have a walkie-talkie.
Gotta go old school, send a raven.
Yeah. All right, we can go to Butts, see if he knows where she is. His mom knows everyone.
Should we let him know we're come?
What did I do? Shit. I don't have a watch. I feel like Butts is still having morning tea and crumpets.
Let's just go share our visions with him.
Yeah, I mean, if the three of us had something similar, maybe he had one too. He was there.
If the four of us had the visions, we should definitely look.
If you keep saying visioned, I'm buying you a scarf like Steven Tyler or something.
You think that's an insult? But let me tell you, Steven Tyler's got moves.
Like
Rob's
Jagger.
Rob's about them moves. So Rob's just gonna give you a side of like, promise.
All right, let's go. Hold on, and he starts to like climb up the rope ladder back into the back into Teletran. And I think it's at that point that but I don't think he like fully realizes it. But it's at that point he sees the robot with the screwdriver in its hand. This is where I put that? And he puts it he throws it to a toolbox across the way where it should be, and then grabs his sleeveless jean jacket, and unties Ben's jacket from around his waist and puts them both on, and then comes back down and slams the door shut, and then slams the cab door shut. He says, "All right, let's go. I can deal with that stuff later."
Okay, so as you guys return back from whence at least two of you had come from the Garrett, Maryland area, we are going to cut back to the hospital as George, you have been led into the waiting room. There's always a nurse by. You have been given any type of drink or food that you have asked for. If anything, if not, then there is a hot chocolate and a water in front of you on the table. They have told you that as soon as they know anything about your mother, they will come out and let you know. But until then, they'll always be around. And they have not... That wasn't a lie. There's someone probably within 10 to 15 feet of you at all times. They're doing work, but they're looking over to make sure you are alone here in this particular waiting room.
Okay. George is like ask for every little thing. Like, yeah, he wants like a cup of chipped ice. And then as soon as that person goes, he asks the next person, hey, can I get like, coffee? And the next one a hot chocolate, the next one a water, until it gets to be like enough for him to be able to sneak away, maybe.
Yeah, I tell you what, I will allow you to roll two things here: a charm to get everyone ordered up and out at the same time, and then a sneak to get out of this area.
All right, my rolls are going so swell. 2 successes, and then a sneak. No successes. Wonderful.
Okay, so narratively how we're going to play this is you do get a chance to get everyone away from you for a moment. You know that there is the door back in the direction that you came from, but that's the only route that's open to you. You think if you go through that one, you might be able to get away unseen, but if you go deeper into the hospital, presumably towards where your mom is, you're definitely going to get seen.
Shoot. So I can't go to my mom. Maybe I can help find Shannon, that we were both not alone in this Decepticon headquarters here. Okay.
So you're going back the way that you've been brought through. And so as you kind of hit the doors, as they part separately and open up for you, you look out, and just as you're opening those doors, you see Shannon creeping down the hall towards you. And as the two of you, as you emerge from ICU and enter into the extended care wing, the two of you meet up, just, close to 15 feet or so. And when you turn, George, to your left and Shannon to your right, you see Ben McKenzie lying on a bed.
Yeah, let's. I'm assuming he's not out like in the hallway. He's in his own room. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in the room
No,
to
there's no
your
staff.
left and Shannon's right. Yep.
And no staff. Anybody nearby?
I don't think so. No.
Alrighty. He like, yeah, let's go in there real quick. And he skulk into Ben's room.
He's alive? Like, there's no apparent any changes in his condition or injuries or anything like that since last?
From just a casual observation of him, he seems to be lying in the bed as he was before. He is still hooked to the machine. He is not on a respirator. You do notice that the frame of the bed is different, but it is the same size and everything.
Last time we were here, there was a thing that tried to slice my face off.
Then we'll be quick.
Okay.
So George goes over to Ben, and this is probably the first time George has really visited him in the hospital. So he says, you know, hey man, sorry I've not made it in. I don't like hospitals. That's a shitty excuse. I'm sorry, man. And he just kind of sits there and like puts his hand on his wrist.
When you place the hand on the wrist, you see his beneath the plaster cast, his fingers begin to move a bit, but they're very erratic. They're don't seem to be controlled at all. And it is at this moment that he turns. You see that almost like a force as it kind of flips to the side and then down. It finally flips over, and in his hand flips over, and in his palm seems to be a torn piece of paper. It looks to be, Shannon, the same piece that was provided to him before.
So he's trying to give me this, I'm assuming. So I take it and I open it and see what it is.
Great. If you look over on Roll20, I will show you the note.
So he whispers and he shows it to her. Save Mom Quest Zelda Loop Map Ganon? And then a bunch of zeros and ones. And he hands it to Shannon like, this is... All right. I don't know what this means, but we'll know who does. Maybe Mr. Derry, maybe Mr. Derry. And so he kind of folds it neatly and puts it in his pocket.
At this point, I'd like you both to roll sneak rolls for me. And I will give you each an extra bonus. So crank up your normal roll by one as you are in a room. The EMT is passing just outside.
How do I roll with a plus modifier?
Just put a 1 or increase your sneak by 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nice.
And there we go. So as you guys hear, I mean, there's always movement. There's always sound in a hospital. It's not something that's able to, at any point, and if it does get very silent, that's probably a very bad thing. But as there is a lot of the medical technology that's beeping or whirring, you guys do hear the pad of feet down the linoleum floor, and you're able to press yourselves up against the shared wall to the hall as you can see through the glass the EMT pass by as he's looking and only casually glances in at Ben before continuing deeper, presumably towards ICU.
At this point, I think Shannon would be like, oh crap. And she like grabs the jacket that the EMT gave George and like rips it off of him without saying anything. and looks for like one of the laundry baskets for the towels or like linens, and just shoves it in there and covers it up.
Okay. Yeah, you're easy because this is, they have hampers of all kinds in here. And so you are quickly able to dispose of the jacket and hide it underneath other soiled linens and things like that. What would you guys like to do?
I think we need to leave.
I think so too. Let's go.
Do you know where your friends would be? Or can we contact them?
The fuck. And he opens up his backpack and he pulls out the Michi-Talkie.
Okay, let's go out the back entrance of the hospital, because that hearse, I think, is still there.
You gotta have himself. Sorry, what's it back?
I don't know how to get to my bike, though, because it's at the front. I mean, I could go get it and then come back around.
Maybe,
make sure it's not there still, like the
maybe
hearse.
let's go out the back, call the rest of the crew, and then make a move from there.
Okay.
All right.
As you guys leave, roll me one more investigate, please. You don't see anything, nor do you see anyone coming.
Oh, that's ominous. All right. Yeah, and then I think we try to sneak out.
Okay, well, based on prior rolls, you guys are easily able to get out a side door. Shannon, when you go back around to the front, your bike is resting right where you left it. The hearse is gone, as is the ambulance that dropped off George's mom. But your bike is still placed where you parked it.
Gone as in not where they were parked, or gone as in not in the vicinity of the hospital?
Gone as in not in the vicinity of the hospital. As you go out and look around, you do not see them.
Okay.
They are absent from sight.
Okay. I'm going to recover my bike and bring it around to where I left George.
Yep. And as you're bringing that around, the Michi-Talkie goes up. And so Michi and Georgie, you guys can speaky. What do you say?
One could say we could walkie and talkie at the same time.
I'm gonna wrap the show after whatever that was, Greg. I think.
So George starts off with Mother Goose. This is Jazz. Mother Goose. This is Jazz. Over.
Now, is that because you don't remember what the other call signs are and just your own, or is that
He doesn't know who's on the other end, so he's kind of calling the
okay?
base.
All right.
Yeah.
I was testing you, Mike, just to see if I think Mitch picks up and says, "What?"
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to put an over at the end of that. Over.
What if we don't get him? What if we just leave him at home? No, we got it. Jazz.
You had the button pressed the whole time. I heard that. Over.
Jazz, this is Wheeljack. Over.
Well, Jack, this is Jazz. Over.
What? Over. You don't need to make the noise. Over.
I don't.
No.
Over?
Over.
Okay, well, sorry, we need to meet up immediately. Went to hospital, don't want to say any more. Do we meet at Mother Goose? Over.
We're headed to your house. Over.
Okay, we'll see you there. Over. Grimlock is with me. Over.
Over and out.
He looks at Shannon. Do I say over and out as well? I don't know if I repeat that back. How to?
Just let's go.
Okay. And he puts it in the backpack. And... Yep.
Are you sure it's safe to go to your house?
Nobody's there.
Nobody that you know is there.
I mean...
Are you kidding me right now? Those are the worst.
That could be anything. It could be anywhere. Plus, you're here, so I'm safe. So...
Oh, my, your bodyguard?
I mean, not by choice. It just kind of happens, right? Like, I'm not going to protect myself. I'm not good at that. I'll try.
Sure, I'll just run him over with my bike. No problem.
I thought you did that before.
Says who? There's no evidence.
I wasn't saying like it was a bad thing. I was saying like it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go.
Yeah. Off we go.
I just read Zoom chat. Yep. So as you all are going from different directions through the town of Garrett, you're able to meet up outside of George's. You all get there about 5 minutes later. As you pull up on bikes or in a much cooler fashion on a motorcycle, you are all together. What would you like to do, my friends?
So we roll up and like everybody's together, right? Where it's not like. So, guys, I'm really freaking out now. My mom's in the hospital.
Wait, what?
My mom's in the hospital.
Like she's going to visit the patients? Or?
No, he is a patient at the hospital.
Rob's gonna go. Did she eat too much grass? Thinking he's being cheeky.
I think he slaps you.
Oh no.
Rob's just gonna look surprised.
The hat spins.
Yeah.
Careful what you say.
Okay, I didn't have a chance to explain it before, but I woke up because I had this weird dream that something was wrong with your mom, George. Which is why I showed up and asked about grass. She was like eating grass in my dream.
That's so. Wait,
She
do
was
we all
saying
have?
your name?
I had a weird dream as well. We were back at the glass house.
That's why we're here.
The vision.
I swear to God, Rob.
It's what it is. If we all shared it, it's more than a dream. Huh?
So we all had. Wait, was it like our whole experience at the glass house, like the, you're gonna have less family and friends thing from Anne Harris, whatever her name was?
Yeah.
So it is a vision. Rob is right. But anyway.
I've got two hands. Carry on.
Okay, now hold on. The higher number of people that are left alive, the higher probability that I'm alive when this is over, okay? So let's not kill each other. Leave that to the enemy, okay?
I'm sorry, Rob. Shouldn't have hit you.
I probably deserved it.
So wait, what happened?
So I woke up. Normally my mom wakes me up, but I was like jerked awake by our vision dream. And my mom's not anywhere. I'm like looking everywhere for her. She's nowhere to be found. That next thing I know, I'm hearing sirens, just perfectly cut, not triangles, but circles in the backyard.
What?
The sirens get louder. Next thing I know, they're like banging down the front door. I let them in. They rush, like they're asking like a woman's in trouble. I don't know who called the
I think they were Decepticons. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yep, but I think
like 100%. There was like a hearse following us around,
Yes.
and nobody was driving it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, nobody was driving the hearse?
No, I actually had the interim sheriff, go check it out because I was like, I don't want to go over there and get kidnapped or some crap. So I convinced him to go check it out, and he opened the doors, and nobody was inside.
Well, maybe they got out.
No, they didn't even come out of the hearse when they pulled up on George's house.
Is your mom okay?
I don't know. She was not responsive. I was in a waiting room. We had to get out of there though, because that place is full of Decepticons. She'll be fine.
Did she say anything to you?
She just was whispering my name over and over again before they put her in the ambulance.
Okay.
But look, she's not wise to what's happening here like us, so they're not going to do anything to her. They're after us because we know what's real right now. So that's what I have to tell myself. You guys have to be on the same page as me. So that's okay, and we need to focus on our mission.
Okay.
This is what they warned us about. It's just like Ben. They're just taking everybody.
Somebody explain a little bit about
them.
this glass house, whatever you call it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, right. You remember the weird people in town? Okay. Well, then, yeah. The day of the dance, we saw the weird people being weird, and George saw that there was a house over, and he points like over the hedges, right there, and it's been an empty lot for years. And then one day there was a house in there, and I couldn't remember a house in there, and none of us could remember a house in there. But his mom said the house was always there. And then we went over there. The people were very strange, and lots of people would come in, or lots of people would leave. I think is it like 20, 21, 15 guys? 21? 21. The ominous hands of the darkness say. And they would all walk out. And then like a little bit later, 21 would walk out. And then a bit later, 21 would walk out. And while we were looking at it, all of them came back in. And they all had like Garrett high school hats on, support the local team. They all had shopping bags. It's like they were trying to be townspeople. And then when we figured out what they were, we saw Butts' mom eating grass, cutting triangles out. I don't know if that means anything. And then we tried to throw a can into the yard, and they shot it with a laser beam. And then they all went inside, and then we tried to get out of there, or we tried to go in, and then we saw the kids, and the kids tried to poison the school. No one, anyone?
Now, Shannon,
okay,
you
that's
would have
fine.
seen this. Shannon, you would have been at the dance where Rob performed a fantastic dance display that culminated in both his pants dropping and the destruction of the punch table. And then you saw that there were these 21 kids that were in the dance that as one kind of stood and left, and no one else reacted to either their arrival, presence, or departure, except for these assholes.
And then we hopped on the pingmobile. I'm pretty sure Rob got fired, and we raced here, and then I got one with a taser, and then I have a piece of it at the Teletran. And then it's called the glass house because the grass is glass, if that makes any sense. And then the lady came out, Anne something, I think, and she was doing some really weird stuff, and she threatened to kill all of our friends and family. And then the house disappeared.
Do you think it's still there?
No, I mean, I saw it disappear.
I mean, do you think it's there again?
I don't know. That's why we're going there now.
Okay.
That's why we came to get Butts, because it's like a street
I
open.
feel like I should get like a baseball bat or something at this point.
I mean, yeah, I have this. And he holds up his wrench. That's what I use. It seems to work. I made a taser before, but they're only one shot.
We have stuff in the shed, guys. So if you guys
Okay.
want stuff, let's get it.
Yeah.
Rakes. There's bats in there for sports stuff. Know all about sports.
I'll grab a bat.
You find a machete in there, maybe something like, definitely a weapon.
If there's an actual machete, then that's what Shannon would go for. But
Maybe like a wedge, which is like a fire, like an axe, I should say.
I know there's a croquet mallet. I need
there
one.
is. In this family, there's definitely a croquet mallet.
It's the shears that Butts uses to prune. He has those, the big bush.
I was going to say, yeah, what you guys find in there, you don't find, this isn't like the shed in Commando that's just, every type of deadly instrument. No, this is the shed of the Buttses. So what you find in here is you find 6 croquet mallets with the croquet balls. There are no bats. You do find rakes. So you do have the length of wood on the rake if you want to. There are 2 shovels. And yes, there are the pruning shears that would have been placed in there for the interesting shrubbery in the front, the blooming flowers in the front of the Butts residence. But there's no machetes or, chainsaws or anything too post-apocalyptic.
dibs on the shears.
So can we say like there's like horseshoes in there, maybe? Horseshoes?
Sure, yeah.
All right,
you
so
got a couple
I take some of the horseshoes.
What kind of rake is it? Is it a plastic rake or a metal rake?
No, this would be the 80s, so it'd be a metal rake at this point. We don't have the big wide fan, grab a bunch of your leaves at once. We have like the old coal rakes that take you like 17, million times longer to do your yard than it would with today's modern technology.
Okay, so yeah, Rob's gonna take the rake. Full rake.
The rake is took. Alrighty, so you all are headed over a block to check out the house.
Yeah.
All right, without the need for a roll, when you guys get over there, you see that the lot is empty. It still seems completely vacant, with one notable exception. There is a bag from Ping's Fine Chinese Dining sitting in the very middle of the lot.
Well, that's weird. Like, that's weird, right? That wasn't here last time?
No. This was months ago.
So Greg, is this more like purposefully placed, or is it like the wind blew it in?
It's perfectly upright, so you can read the label on the side, and it looks as if the normal debris, as far as at this point of the year, the dried grass has been cleared away, almost as if it is a presentation.
But it's grass.
Looks like it.
Okay, because the last time it looked like glass.
It looked like grass, but felt like glass.
That's fair.
This looks like grass.
Yeah, and Mitch had an encounter with that grass almost twice. He walks over to the lot, and the first thing he does is he pulls the wrench out and sort of runs it along the grass.
It moves like normal vegetation.
He turns back to the group and just kind of shrugs and takes a step onto it. And as long as he doesn't explode, he's going to slowly walk towards the bag.
You all watch and bear witness to the explosion of Mitch. What would the rest of you like to do?
And it's the slowest walk, too. Like, he's actually walking through a minefield where he, like, takes a step and then waits. You know when you're trying to sneak through your house and when everyone's asleep and everything makes a noise? It's that. Then he takes another step and waits and looks around, and then another step. And it's the longest walk towards this bag.
Yeah, nothing's happening to Mitch as he takes a very long time to walk through the still of the night as he's creeping over, and you reach the bag.
Well, I got this far. And he reaches down and opens it up.
Inside, it appears to be... You all watch as Mitch now explodes. There appears to be a rock that looks like it's just weighting down the bag, because the rest of the bag is filled with Polaroid pictures.
What is it? What's in the bag?
Well, what's in the bag?
He reaches in and pulls out the pictures. What's the top one?
You see a picture of George's mom.
He holds up like a clump of photos and he says, George? You're going to want to see this, man.
Important question. This photo of George's mom.
It is not candid.
Does she got it going on?
That's perhaps we'll have to ask George.
Fair.
But she is what's her occupation, George?
She is a geriatric sex therapist.
She's a geriatric sex therapist, and she's very popular. So chances are, she's probably got at least something going on.
Yuck. Yeah, but he holds these up and he says, hey, man, you're going to want to see this. He kind of like puts his hand out, but hasn't left the lot.
Oh, this is weird, dude. Are they all of her?
Nope.
Who else is it, Greg?
The next picture that you look at is Veronica. The next picture that you look at, you believe to be, and George would be able to identify the parents of Sam and Veronica. George's mom, Rob's parents, May from Ping's Fine Chinese Cuisine, Mitch's mom, and nobody for Jerry.
Guys?
Fine.
Jerry, I think you won this one.
What about Shannon?
Nothing that you would identify with, Shannon. A few of these people, like Veronica, you would know because she's the older sister of Sam that was driving the car the night that your friends disappeared. You don't see anybody that you would relate to above the rest of these people, though.
Now, these photos, you said they're just like candid photos, right?
Yeah, a couple of them actually appear to be pictures of pictures, meaning that it looks as if someone had taken a family portrait, like a Sears family portrait that might be sitting on somebody's mantelpiece, and then taken a Polaroid of that picture. So there's an odd quality to them.
You know what,
But,
Greg? I'm curious. What is the state of Mitch's mom in the picture?
In the picture that you can see, it looks as if she looks very young. You would guess it's probably like a high school senior picture. You've never seen it, but you can obviously identify it as being your mom.
Okay. That makes things weirder. Who left these?
Rob would be able to identify the bag as being the bag that he delivered the food into the house all those months ago.
The bag she only had food when I gave it to him.
Yeah, but how did they leave it here?
Maybe it was already outside when they left.
It's a message. Regardless of when it was left here, it's a message for us.
What the hell does it mean? What
There
the hell
will
does any
be
of this mean?
less family and friends. These are their targets.
Yeah, but why doesn't Jerry
They're
have
gonna-
anybody?
Just Jerry. Sorry, Jerry, but do you have anybody? I don't mean to,
He has a family.
Jerry. I don't mean to speak for you, but do you? If they were gone, would you feel that terrible about it? Like I said, I don't know enough about it.
No.
In fact, you might be a little bit better off. I don't. Like I said, I'm not trying to presume it here.
Everybody roll a mind check for me, please. Just a straight mind. As luck would have it, and perhaps from an observational roll, Shannon, as you see these pictures and everyone's asking Jerry, why don't you have somebody, Jerry? Why don't you have somebody, Jerry? You remember seeing around town in your observations, Jerry spent an awful lot of time with Ben McKenzie.
I mean, maybe I'm jumping. I don't know. Jaren had Ben, and he's already gone.
Listen, he's not gone, okay? He's just...
I mean, they did what they set out to do, right?
Well, they didn't.
They've taken George's mom in a way that they could. They've taken Ben the way that they could.
Yeah, but they didn't get her.
Listen, to the adults, they're taking, like, they're not mysteriously disappeared like my friends. They're where they can be monitored and seen so as to not, I don't know, raise more questions. I don't know. Maybe we need to find out what happened to my friends to get to the bottom of all this shit. She says, the 14-year-old who starts swearing.
Don't worry, we swear all the time.
Yep.
Well, I told you. We were outside of the movie theater. They were being dickweeds. We beat them up. They ran into the woods. 2 never came back, and 1's a zombie. And then we saw him on the roof. And then we heard that he escaped.
We don't know where he is.
Well,
So
he
maybe we
escaped
should track
from the
down
woods.
Chris.
What if we also check out the woods where we last saw them?
That too.
I mean,
We have
that's gotta
plenty
be
of
our
thing we
influence.
can look at. Sure, these pictures, so what? What are we going to do? We can't, like, protect your parents. We can't protect these people.
I mean, my dad's already a robot, so...
We also
What do you want to do with the photos? Nobody's going to believe us, first of all. We can't take it to the cops. Because that was,
just let's hold on to him for now.
Yeah.
And he pulls out his backpack. I'm assuming nobody else has a backpack or something. I don't know.
No, Mitch doesn't.
Jordan pulls it out and puts like everything back in there, tosses the rock, and then puts everything into his backpack.
Hey, did either of you mess with my truck?
What?
The Teletran 2?
Your truck?
Teletran 2, whatever. Did any of you mess with it?
Right.
Yeah, Mitch, it was me. I spend all of my free time bothering you.
What she said.
Everybody roll and investigate.
No.
Hey, do you guys do
Success.
you guys like know languages?
Wow. All
There's no code?
Holy shit. I think everyone succeeded.
Not me.
With
Except
all
for...
of the successes for the... Unfortunately, George is having a rough night. As the rock is tossed from the bag, it hits the ground and rolls over a couple times, and the flat side is exposed up, and you see kind of scratched almost perfectly, not carved, but scratched with a nail or a piece of chalk in a perfectly drawn line. It's 3 triangles placed together to form a third or a larger triangle.
What the? You see that?
No, what is it?
Wait. Hold on now.
Look at the rock. Look.
I didn't see it. Never mind.
Did you draw that?
I didn't draw anything. You saw me pick it up.
Is this?
Everyone's
is-
coming with us.
What?
What are you saying about code?
Okay. So a lot of things going on here.
Yeah.
Ben, so
Sorry.
we have to let's put this, we'll table that. Nobody knows what that symbol is. We'll table that. I got this note. We saw Ben while we were in the hospital. So we went to go see Ben. We did. And he gave me this note, and it says, save, mom, quest, Zelda, loop, man, Ganon, and then a bunch of zeros and ones.
Anybody know binary?
Can I try to read the binary, Greg?
Sure.
I
If you
assume I
wanna-
need to know. I assume I would need to know some kind of something about computers to program a robot.
It'd be programmed.
Right. So, yeah, it would be a program roll here.
1 success.
Hey, that word there rhymes with Shannon.
You mean Shannon?
Seriously? Ganon. Ganon is how I think it's pronounced.
Oh, well, I thought I just, like,
You think or you
French.
know?
I mean, I don't know. I could have asked Ben. Oh, wait, he can't talk.
okay, maybe let's, so maybe don't do that.
You are able to read the binary as follows. Each of these combination you remember from basic programming with Mr. Derry. The first sequence is an R. The second is an O. The third is a B. The fourth is an O. And the fifth is a T.
Hey, Butts.
Yeah.
Did your mom get you a Nintendo?
So, this is Mike speaking. Probably. I'm going to leave that up to Greg to say whether or not they have money, and I'm sure like every Christmas it's the newest, gaming system.
Okay, well, here's my question for George. Would George admit to having a Nintendo? Because is that cool for George, or is that an admission of not being cool for George? So he may very well have one. Is he going to?
I think it would be a guilty pleasure. So he's not super like proud of it. He thinks video games are for dorks. And the player, Mike, is saying his dad is totally into D&D. He's got like the red box, all that kind of stuff. And he tries to get George to play with him. But anyway, which one? Wait, 1987 is Super Nintendo out yet?
The only one.
It's the only one.
That's the only one. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know. I'm not an 80s kid. Yeah.
I'm here to help.
Yeah. Maybe.
Hey, Rob. Take a look at that rock.
You said this symbol shows no,
That's,
like nobody. What?
No, dude, it's Zelda, right? It's in all the magazines last year.
Oh.
This note says Zelda on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I misheard
That's
when
the
Greg
game.
explained it.
It was in the Toys R Us catalog they send out every year. Last year's Christmas catalog.
Gold cartridge.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get it because I don't.
No.
I don't have a. But I seen it. It was in every magazine.
Wait, gold?
The girl with the sword.
Gold cartridge?
Yeah.
I think I have that, guys.
How do you?
I never played it.
What do you do?
We can discuss that for hours, what I do, okay? But right now, we know that I don't play the gold cartridge Zelda game.
Do you have it? Do you know where it is?
I think we'd have to go check.
Do you have like the whole thing, like the book it comes with and everything?
It's not. I didn't open any of it, so yeah, I guess.
Okay, we're not gonna find anything else weird in your house, right?
I mean,
Do you check for robots before you?
no.
I hope it's not stuffed with grass.
Rob.
He's gonna say that in a whisper towards Mitch.
Okay, so George. Yeah, George would not. Do it.
Mitch smiles and then elbows you in the ribs. This is from Ben. He holds the note up that you were showing him.
Yeah, he had it in his hand.
Like, did he write it? Was he done writing it?
He just already had it in his hand, and he like twitched. He moved, and then I saw it in his hand, and I took it.
This is binary.
What's that?
It's
When we were there with Ben, he said he could hear them.
you could hear them
You
when
could
we
hear
were there with Ben.
Decepticons.
Yeah, with the thing in my face, and
Yeah.
he body checked me.
It says robot.
Robot.
Or
Like your robot?
or he wasn't done, and it says robot.
What?
That's Rob.
That's
That's his name.
Wait, I get it. Rob, your name's Robot.
What?
No.
Oh, because
Yeah.
of his last name?
Yeah.
No, yeah, but if either it says robot or he wasn't done writing it and he missed a T.
But
Rob, what do you know about Zelda?
It comes in a gold cartridge.
Have you played it?
No.
Do you know what gated means?
No.
It doesn't make sense why Ben would tell us to talk to Rob.
I don't know, maybe.
I think it may have to do with your robot, bitch.
I agree with Rob.
Maybe.
Is anything wrong? You said people were messing with the truck, right?
Yeah, there's like lights in the truck that weren't there. Like 2 strips
Okay.
of lights.
Plan. Go to George's house, get the game and the Nintendo, bring it back to your robot, and you put it together or something. And have the robot beat the game.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't want to overcomplicate things either, but maybe we should check on one of these other people before we go. Like, all these pictures.
I can go check on them.
Well, we know where Miss Butts is.
Yeah. What if they already started with the others?
And we
Veronica
know-
and Sam, they're out of town, and her parents. Her mom might still be here. I guess we'll have to check out that. But her dad's not in town.
we know what happened to Mr. Butts.
What about your mom, Mitch?
She's on the couch. I assume.
Okay. Do you want to check on her, or do you not care?
I mean, we can go, I guess. She doesn't move around a lot.
Just on the way, you know?
Yeah, I'll go in. I'll stop in. It's fine.
Okay, so you guys, after a debate, are headed towards the Tradewinds trailer park.
I think we're headed to
check.
the Butts estate first to check that.
Right, to see if I have the Nintendo and the game and everything.
Yeah.
You have the Nintendo, and have you played it before?
Hell no, that's for dorks.
Have you
Still
really played it before? It's still sealed?
It's still sealed.
The whole
Okay.
thing, the Nintendo too.
Everything is still sealed. Yep.
Okay, so you guys are able to get this brand new, now worth thousands of dollars system that is mint in package. So you're able to grab all this and take it, and then on your way to the Tradewinds trailer park, you notice that the trailer of Mitch is gone.
Man, you got me. You got me there, Greg. I don't have a response for that one. I don't have a witty retort. Yeah, I think you'd be like coming down the road towards the trailer park, and Mitch would see it and just stop, like, probably like a quarter mile down the road, and then he looks to Jerry and he says, "Did I miss a turn? I know I haven't been home in like a couple weeks, but." This is my street, right?
Yeah.
That's
Ben's
Ben's house.
trailers
That's
is
Ben's,
also gone.
Ben's trailer's gone too. You shit. He again. He turns towards Jerry and kind of like towards Rob as well. Right? And he like just points to empty lot.
Why do we stop? Let's go.
There's nowhere to go.
What?
Mitch lost his house.
How do you lose a house?
I haven't been home in a few weeks. My house is right there,
Few weeks?
and Ben's house was right there, and they're both gone.
Maybe it was a tornado like in the Wizard of Oz.
He like swings at you over his bike, but misses. Is a tornado that takes 2 trailers, and no one says anything about it, and we didn't hear anything about it.
Nobody else was given answers.
My house is gone, guys.
Jerry's gonna just get off his bike on the lawn of the trailer next to where Mitch's was and just start banging on the door.
An older gentleman comes out that recognizes you, Jerry. Hey, I know you. What do you want?
Where'd the trailer next door go?
Left. Truck came, hooked it up, put new tires on it, and it left.
When?
I don't know, a couple days ago.
Yeah. And what about the other one? You know, one where the woman died?
Well, you'd know more about that than I would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Sure would. But you talk a lot for a person who thinks they know something.
I ain't the one looking for houses. He starts going back inside.
Jerry kind of like will look around on his lawn for something to break. Probably find next to nothing. And
You
just
find a stone
a
with
stone.
a little triangle and a triangle and a triangle forming a bigger triangle.
Oh, balls. Jerry will pick it up and return to everybody. It's gone.
What do you say?
He said a truck came and took it away.
The truck
And I
came and
sh-
took my house away?
What kind of truck? Do you get
Where's
any
my
information?
mom?
And I found this. He's gonna like hand Mitch the stone with the triangles on it.
I think Mitch, assuming that the triangles mean Decepticons now, just like looks at it and that nerd rage wells up again and he just chucks it at where his house should be.
It bounces up. No, it passes through and just.
What the hell, man?
This is it. This is what they warned us about. We didn't listen, and we're all fucked now.
No, so far, like, just me. My best friend's in a coma, and my mom's gone, and my dad's a robot.
Stop being so selfish. Everybody's lost something or is about to. Jeez. My friends are gone. One of them's gone crazy thanks to you guys, okay? Or whatever is manipulating everything. So stop being such a baby.
I'm sorry that your friends are gone. My mom's gone.
Mine just got hospitalized. We know that she was in danger.
But she's not
What the hell
dead
have to do with your mom?
or disappeared.
No, it's a lot of speculation. She's not wrong. It's not just about you, as it always is for you.
Well,
Your trailer, your truck, you're in fucking Shitville. We're all in Shitville. We're in Garrett, Maryland.
I mean, it is.
Welcome to Shitville. You're the mayor.
Mayor of Shitville. Congratulations, Mayor.
Well, now what?
You tell us, Mayor.
Now we
I
follow
tell
our
you every
clues.
time. Why don't you come up with an answer, George?
I am the answer.
Why don't you pull your comb through your hair and figure it out?
Oh my god, stop. We're going to your robot. We're going to do something with the Zelda crap with the binary, okay? And then if that doesn't work, then we go to the next clue and we keep going until we figure it out. And you guys can punch each other later or something.
I need to find the truck that took my house.
Okay, well then go ask the dude what kind of truck took it and we'll go track it down.
Why don't you ask your dad, Butts?
We know what kind of truck.
Why don't you ask your dad?
Decepticon truck.
'Cause I
What
haven't
does it
seen my
look
dad
like?
once.
That's what we need to find out.
Also, wouldn't it be like a tow truck or something industrial? So there's only so many places that could come from.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like the loot.
Like
The loop could do
Like,
anything.
what if there was a company symbol or something on it that we could track down?
Fine, whatever. And he like tosses his bike and walks over to the other guy, to the old man's house next door.
Oh, he's still right inside the screen door watching you all.
Hey,
What do you
go-
want?
Hey, who took my house?
It's your house, shouldn't you know?
No, I don't know.
It seems like a problem.
Yeah, my house is gone, Jeff.
I was expecting my name to be Jeff. It's not nearly as tough as what I had envisioned, but
It's a trailer park, Greg. Everyone's name's Jeff.
Jeff it is then. I'll live with it. I'll make it work. Well, listen. Roll me a charm
Okay.
to see if old Jeff's going to give up the goods here.
Not great at those. Holy shit! Out of 2 dice, I
I've
succeed
always
twice.
liked you, kid. You know, old Jeff's always liked you. What do you want to know?
Everything, Jeff. Look, I haven't been home in whatever. I haven't been home. I come here. My house is gone. Ben's house is gone. I have no idea where my mom is.
Well, listen, all I know is it's your mom was gone before they came in, and I think somebody bought the trailer or some.
My mom,
I'm guessing some type of.
My mom was gone?
She was here one day and gone the next. Is she? There weren't nobody in there, and no furniture or nothing.
Wait,
They came back.
there's no furniture? Did you see a moving truck?
I didn't see nothing. I don't know. She took it with her in dead of the night. I mean, no offense, but you know, old Jeff, that seems a straight shooting. She probably would have taken off in the middle of the night.
Well, you have a shitty escort. You can't fit the whole house with the furniture and the escort.
Listen, these are all problems that are beyond old Jeff. I observe and report. Never try to, I saw your big friend climbing into something. I was a little harsh on him, but that was before old Jeff was charmed with a 2. So, a lot more pliable and easier to get information from.
See, now he's a Jeff. That too.
Shannon is starting to walk over because she feels like it's taking too long to get information. Hi, we haven't met before, but we were trying to find his mom and this the house and all this other stuff. So, what was the company that took it?
Shannon, Jeff, Shannon.
Hi.
Pleasure. Well, like I said, I don't. There weren't no company took it. I think a construction company must have bought it because goddamn dump truck came down, hooked up, took it out. I guess they're taking it to some job site.
What color was the truck?
Like green.
Do you know what job
Do you
site?
know any companies that have green trucks?
Don't know.
What kind was it? Like a tow truck or a big worker truck, like a Ford?
The big ass.
A what?
Dump truck.
Big ass. I'm sorry. It was a large dump truck.
Dump truck taking houses? That's highly suspicious, don't you think?
No, the craziest shit was the craziest stuff was that the dead woman's trailer. Yeah, it was taken by goddamn cement mixer came down, hooked up, took it out.
Thanks, Jeff. And he starts
Nice
to
to
walk
meet
down the stairs, and he tugs on Shannon if she doesn't come.
Oh no, she's definitely fake smile, okay, this is bad.
Y'all need me to watch anything? I'm good for about 50 yards inside this trailer. Anything beyond that, I never leave.
Oh, thanks. Do
Jeff,
you like fries?
I love them, but I can't get them
Bring
to
some by
deliver.
next time.
Haven't had them for 13 years. What?
Do you want
Jeff-
me to bring some by next time?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Great.
Just all of a sudden, Jeff is agoraphobic. I don't leave my trailer. Sorry, guys.
I can see this screen limit and this screen limit.
You're lucky it's
You
fairly
mean he's
dark
on
out.
house arrest, guys?
Right.
I can't eat fries on part of my ankle jewelry down there.
While they're walking back towards the bikes, Mitch looks over at Shannon and he says, trucks? You remember those trucks?
Yeah, exactly. Bad. As in, they took them.
Yeah. I guess my mom got out before. He said she left.
Do you have a way of contacting her?
No.
Where would she go?
I have no idea.
Where would she hang out?
We've always lived here.
Yeah, but she doesn't like stay in the house 24/7. Where would she go?
He stops and sort of pulls you so you're facing him. Mom doesn't go anywhere. She's a drunk.
Do you bring her the booze, or she's got to get somebody to go get it, or she has to go get it herself?
No.
Where does she go?
I get it.
I'm sorry, what?
I get it.
That's a discussion for a way different time and not by me. Okay.
She sends me the 20 to the packy, and I get it.
How does she make money to be able to do that?
Dad's gone. He's working for the Loop. I guess a check comes in. Now he's a robot, so I have no idea what the hell he's doing.
Wait, your dad works for the Loop?
Well, he signed on to do something, some kind of test. He said this is gonna pay for everything, it's gonna fix everything, and I hadn't seen him in months, and then I hadn't seen him since before the school year ended over the summer, and then I saw him the other day. Well, I guess it was like a month ago. He was a robot, I think.
Do you have a way to contact him?
No, I fell off a tower and he jumped out of a tree and saved me and then disappeared. Also, he's invisible.
Okay, well, I could shove you off of a building and see if he shows up again.
I would rather not chance it. I almost died the last time.
You could put like a trampoline at the bottom.
I don't know if he'll come.
I think that the note has something to do with your mom and your dad.
What the hell does it have? What?
I don't know, but your mom and your house are missing. Ben gave you the letter, which, I mean, it's not coincidental, right? That it's you guys are the ones that are missing, like your houses. And the note said robot, aka your dad.
Or my robot.
Luke.
Or robot.
I just don't know what Ganon is or Map.
Let's go to Rob's house. Just to make sure.
Cool.
And they start walking back.
Cut to 20 minutes later, the house of the Otts seems perfect. The indifferent parents indifferently watching some show.
Rob's gonna, at this point, are we all inside?
I think we just pulled up to like at your
Okay,
house.
that's what I figured, that we're just there. So Rob's gonna go up and look in the window and see his mom and dad just chilling, watching some TGIF or whatever, and which I don't think that came on in '87, but he's just gonna come back to the group and everything's copacetic.
I guess we go back to the truck. The truck.
Are we gonna try the Zelda? Does the Teletran have a TV?
I doubt it. But as you say that, he looks over and says, oh yeah. Butts, can I see that? The Zelda game?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here.
And very, very ceremoniously, he opens up the plastic packaging and slides the game out, and then gingerly opens the box and like loosens everything out, and he tucks it back in and just pulls out the booklet and then folds it back up and hands it back to Butts. And he's opening the booklet that came with the game and reading through it.
Rob's gonna be shoulder to shoulder with you.
Yeah.
You guys would immediately come to the realization that obviously Zelda is a part of this game, the word. However, whether or not this is something that anyone would know in '87, Zelda is not the main character, but the princess that requires rescuing in The Legend of Zelda. And the person from whom she needs rescuing is a wizard by the name of Ganon. Or, if you're not French Huguenot, Ganon.
Zelda's not even the main character?
Why is it in the title?
Why would they name the game after someone else?
I thought that kid with the sword was a girl.
Why can't girls be important?
I didn't say they weren't. It's just not. It's a boy. His name is Link.
Yeah, and it's about Zelda. Obviously, she's more important than Link is.
She's a princess.
I want to be a
Princesses can be badasses too.
She has to get rescued.
Does she though? Maybe that's what they want you to think.
It's a little progressive of you, Shannon. So
She starts the revolution. No, I'm just
That's
man.
headcanon now. That's Shannon is busting ass in 2018.
Wait. Shannon, you're right.
Excuse me?
You're right.
I know,
where's
but
the-
why do you think I'm right?
Where's the note? Who has the note? From Ben.
Here.
Butts has the don't.
I have it. I hate it too.
Save mom. My mom's missing. Sorry,
Yeah.
not to make this about me. Quest, that's what we're on. Zelda, the princess, my mom. Ganon's a bad guy. The bad guy has my mom.
Yeah, it also says loop and map.
Yeah,
That is literally what I said before.
yeah. The Decepticons took my mom. The trucks that were construction trucks, like the 5 construction trucks that were outside when we were leaving the hospital a few weeks ago, when all the power went out. 2 construction trucks that were green came up and took Ben's house away and my house away.
I just want to point out that he said I was right because I said that to him 5 seconds ago over there.
I know, I said it. I agreed with you.
Devastator?
Yeah,
So what do we do?
they took my mom to a construction site. Well, they took the house to a construction site. Jeff said she got out, though. I don't know where she got out. But he said there was no
Why do you think
furniture.
they needed the house?
I don't know. Why would they need Ben's house? No one lived there.
That's what's
They're taking
strange.
evidence.
Well, Jeff said my mom got out, too. He said she took the escort. But he said there was also no furniture in the house. And that's not going to fit in a Ford Escort.
Well, we also don't know if Jeff was telling the truth or not.
Yeah, how reliable is Jeff?
Jeff's a dick.
She's all right.
I've never met a decent Jeff.
Got a point.
At this point in his life, Rob's met the one Jeff, and he didn't even really meet him.
He wasn't that decent.
Yeah.
Jeff is a quest giver, though, so you must.
Is there Greg, do we know of a construction site in town?
The only one you know that is the one beside the
The
hospital.
one beside the hospital, yeah.
Oh, where all the boogeymen are. Yeah.
Yeah. And the hospital's full of robots.
And my mom.
And your mom. And Ben.
Ben.
But what about the map? We have a map.
Yeah.
You do? What's the map?
It's
It's
a map
the
of...
topology of like Garrett.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe
And when I got Teletran 2 working, the dashboard map came up too.
Now, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong. These old games like this, the original Zelda, it came with a poster that had a map of Hyrule on the back, did it not?
The gold box
It did.
did.
Yeah.
It did.
It would still be in the box. It's not in the book.
Yeah.
you said that the dash map came out. What?
Yeah, the Magnetrain trucks. It's all robotic. It's like a dashboard. Like
Maybe
has
we
a
can
map on it.
compare all the different maps.
I tried comparing the topography map from Butt's dad and the dash map, and it looks the same, as far as I can tell.
Maybe it has something to do with the game.
Maybe.
What about the triangles? Use the triangles to line it up with the map and figure out if it's pointing to something.
But they could point to anything
They're triangles.
because they're triangles and you can make them point to anything.
They point in multiple
It takes like
directions.
5 seconds to put the triangles on and
Fine,
see
let's
if it's
go.
got anything.
Let's go back to the trucks.
Because you're impossible. Boys suck. Like, just
Falcon, dude. The Falcon.
No, it's Teletran 2.
AKA the Falcon. Or the Falcon, AKA Teletran 2.
Fine, whatever. Let's go.
20 minutes later, you return to the Falcon, and as you get up into the...
Am I supposed to simulate my hair blowing in the wind?
Yes,
Yeah.
you are, Meta.
Probably.
As you
Shannon gets
slowly go.
You guys are able to climb up into the Falcon, and at this point, the lines with their beating, pulsing lights that most of you are seeing for the first time reach all the way back to the magnetized map that was on the rear of the far wall of the truck. And it seems to be illuminating an area 15 miles north of Garrett along the western side of the reactor.
Okay. Something's messing with the truck. So, these lights come out of the dashboard. Like, they're wired into the dashboard. They come through the cab of the truck, into the bed of the truck, run along the roof, and when I left this morning, they stopped here.
Okay, so someone's trying to tell us something. Maybe your truck is alive. You should try talking to it.
This isn't a Stephen King book.
Are you serious? Of all the crap that we've seen, you're gonna say that?
That's where I draw the line. talking trucks is where I draw the line. That's where Mitch's
Try to
sanity
talk to
stops.
it. It's your truck. I'm gonna start talking to it.
Truck. Are you alive?
Oh man, this is Jeff. How nice.
Yes.
I was expecting either that or a tow mater voice.
No, it's just a truck.
Okay, it was worth a shot. Okay.
Anyway, what is this? Greg, what is it pointing to again? 15 miles west or east?
You guys received the topo map of the area of Garrett that didn't have identifiable landmarks
Yes.
other than the loop. And the wires have crept to the back where it was magnetized to the metal. And now it has crawled up and the actual pulse has wrapped around a specific area about 15 miles north.
Mitch reaches down and rummages through something and then pulls up like a Sharpie and then boop, pops it off and then circles that area and then caps the Sharpie and throws it back down before pulling the map down.
The lights go out.
Okay, right?
Do.
I took the map down.
Put it back up. See what happens.
He puts the map back up.
Still out.
Well, you broke it now. Now we can get it back.
Well,
We go master mechanic. Mayor
some-
Shitsville.
Rob's gonna bang on the dash. He's just gonna, like, while they're doing that, he's just gonna look at the dash and go, boof.
So you get out of the truck, go around, and climb back up.
Yeah. Well, I figured I'm probably just kind of watching.
Nothing happens. It does not reactivate like the real Falcon would if Han Solo banged on it.
I was thinking Fonzie.
No Fonzie effect. No Fonzie effect. No.
Hey.
You can only do that if you do it. It works.
Greg, remind me because I forgot. I gave Mr. Derry a walkie-talkie. Right?
You did.
Whose walkie-talkie was it?
It was your own because you were going to make one.
Wasn't it Ben's?
You guys technically have Ben and Sam's right now. So you have two floating around that I will allow you to gift to whomever you'd like.
Well, so I think then Mitch gave his own to Mr. Derry.
Yeah.
Okay,
If I recall correctly, you gave yours and then you said you're going to make one or take one of the spares.
that makes sense. Yeah, so I would say that at this point, Mitch has Ben's. And now that we're back in the Teletran, he reaches over and grabs Sam's and then tears the duct tape off the back of it that says RC and hands it to. Actually, he sticks the duct tape to where the map was next to, and he grabs more duct tape and then scribbles Grimlock onto it and hands it to Shannon. Says, "You can have that one."
Thanks, I guess.
That's It's how we talk if we need anything. That we don't have to drive everywhere.
I like driving my bike.
Yeah, but you don't have to just drive it. Whatever. Take it. It's yours. Are we gonna... Should we go here?
I guess. Unless you want to go to the construction site.
I mean, if the map was telling us to go here, and Ben was telling us to use the map, maybe just the houses are at the construction site, and my mom's at this place.
Okay, so wait. What about the part of robot?
I mean, there's Rob or there's that. And he points to hit the robot he's building.
I assume
Without the need for a roll, your robot is holding a screwdriver and a socket wrench.
Wasn't he not holding that before?
No. And
I'm telling you, your truck is alive.
I don't think it's the truck.
Well, something is.
He walks over and takes the socket wrench and the screwdriver out of the hands of the robot and throws them back to where they belong in that box across the way. And then he sits down and starts like looking at the wires and servos and like the chipset in the back of the robot, and he's trying to figure out if this robot is autonomous or if somebody is fucking with him.
Roll a tinker check.
I'm using my wrench as well. 2 successes.
It appears to be the exact same as when you last worked on it. However, with 2 successes, I will let you know that the joints around the leg, hip, wrist, and shoulder appendages seem to have been moved as the grease that you have applied there has been manipulated a bit, kind of moved around the outside of the joint.
Okay. None of you touched it, right?
Not since that one time.
And nothing happened when you touched it, right? You went to go zap it and you couldn't zap it.
I mean, yeah.
Someone's moving it. Like a toy. Like they're moving its actual legs and arms.
Or maybe it's moving on its own.
Yeah, but it shouldn't work. I haven't finished it yet.
Well, maybe it does.
I mean, I guess. I can't make it move on its own. It's just doing it whatever it wants to.
Is there like an interface that he can use? Out of
No.
character.
No, I didn't build one. It's not even programmed. There's not even a battery in it.
Why don't you input the binary into the robot? Robot.
Okay, I guess it can't hurt. And he pulls down like the rear panel that has like all the circuitry in there, and that's how you do binary, guys. That's not true. But it's like so you know it's 1987 and he's 13. It's the same like coding switches as if you were to like pull off the back of your garage door, and it has the clickers for 0s and 1s to set to your garage door's like unique binary code to open your door. So he has those on there, and he's going to attempt to switch those relays to spell robot.
When you click over the last of the digits in the T, you see a light that you had failed to notice before go from the area where your robot is sitting, and it pulses towards the front of the truck. As it pulses towards the front of the truck, you all feel the vehicle come alive as it, and you begin to feel a lift as everything gets reactivated in the Falcon. And along the front dashboard with its readouts and its telemetry designs for normal transport of dry goods and what it had used to do, and where that flash of the topo map had been for Garrett, Maryland, it is there, but it kind of curls down and becomes smaller. And the readout at the top, as it comes across, it says, Grav Applied National Neural Orbiting Network. And the map again bleeds forward, and the location that was displayed on the written map begins to pulse.
And Mitch grabs Rob and like shakes him by the shoulders. He's like, Energon! It was Energon! And he's like shaking him, super excited. It powers the robots!
You're welcome.
Yeah?
It powered the robot! I made the truck Energon!
Oh shit!
Guys. So Greg, what was that? What was the name of that thing again?
Ganon.
It was Ganon. That's basically what George was gonna say. This word, that word, that word. I didn't write it down, so I don't remember it. Orbital network. Ganon. Ganon.
Ganon.
Right, Shannon?
Shannon and on.
And as you're looking at the display and as it reads out the Grav Applied National Neural Orbiting Network, and again pulses in that area on the map, the readout continues to kind of split and descend, and it ends with central telemetry dish. And it expands the area, and you see an almost lifelike 3D, green 3D wiring of what looks like a huge satellite dish, several construction vehicles, and 2 trailers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will end this episode of Atari Twilight.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, Gregory. Oh, Gregory.
Guys, we have like 4 more episodes left. This is bananas. Okay, awesome. That was a cool episode. That was super fun. Sorry for being a sassy bitch. Thank you guys for playing. That was pretty dope. So let's go around, get our introductions, hear your thoughts on this one shot, and we'll start with Meta, who has a mouthful of pop. Meta, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of this episode?
Hello, Metamancer. You guys can find me on Twitch and Twitter. I do RP stuff all the time. And sometimes digital art. But yeah, I like today's episode. I got to be really sassy to Mitch. Mitch is the only character that Shannon hasn't saved yet. So this should be interesting. So
Out of curiosity, Meta, does that make Shannon mad? Or is that because the way you delivered that line was, I was sassy to Mitch. He's the only one I haven't had a chance to save yet. So it seemed like that's one of the reasons why there was sass. I'm curious as a fan.
The way that I have read through everything and her interpretation of what she has been observing is that they're in way over their heads. And Shannon, because not only is because she's the oldest one there, but also because she's used to being on her own and dealing with everything as it comes and like adapting to every situation. So she thinks on her feet really quickly. And part of her is annoyed that she has to help other people. But then there's like the selfish aspect of her wanting to get to the bottom of everything. And then there's the caring part of her, which is seldom seen by other people, where she doesn't want more people to get hurt in the process. So I'm kind of letting her explore different areas, but she's definitely like, Mitch doesn't know. The call out of him being selfish was because he deserved to be called out for being selfish. But, like George had literally just lost his mom traumatically, might I add. And all Mitch is caring about is himself and his robot and his truck and him, right? So Shannon definitely sees that and will continue to call him out until he comes to terms with the fact that it's everybody, like everybody's at risk. So I think it's a little bit of both, really, to answer your question.
This is your outro, and I don't mean to ask questions.
No, you're fine.
Absolutely, from the intro, I've loved Shannon's character, and throughout this episode, I got such a strong, not a relatable vibe, like it reminds me, but a Jessica Jones type of vibe that comes off of Shannon, like just as tough as nail. Like fucking full of shit. And it's just so refreshing to have this like line that she I love it. I love the character.
Thank you.
Like how you're presenting her very, very much. You can go back to saying everything. I will stop.
No, that was pretty much it. I like playing her. All of my characters that are like strong female leads in my RP are generally pretty sassy, but playing a young woman in it, there is a no rules type of attitude with that, because teenagers are so just they take the risk like all the way beyond anything else, right? Like they're just fearless, and I think that that's something I don't get to do very often when I play adult characters, because moral compass and rules that society has ingrained in you are much more prevalent when you're older than they are when you're younger, because you're always going against the odds. So it's refreshing to play an RP a younger character too. So that's my outro.
I actually love the interaction between Mitch and Shannon. Like they're like in the 2 episodes for a lot of the same reasons like that you said. Like in my opinion, like the way Mitch perceives everybody is he saw Ben as like his best friend. He sees Rob as like his little brother. He sees Jerry as like, I don't know, Jerry's like not the cool older brother, but he's the older brother figure just because he's the biggest of them. And he thinks Butts is an idiot. And so regardless of whether he's the leader or not, everyone goes, Mitch, what do we do next? And he's like, fuck. But you're the only one that's like calling him on his bullshit, and now recently Butts because he's had a traumatic incident. But no one before has called him on his shit. So in his eyes, his dad's gone, his mom's a drunk, which we just, surprise, found that out today. So it's always been Mitch. He's had to take care of himself. He's had to take care of, Ben. And in his head, he's had to take care of Rob because he's like a weirdo, literally as a character. So for Mitch's eyes, it has the weight about him, and he is not realizing that now that it is not about him.
Wow, so Shannon, you're right. Even your outro is all about Mitch.
Listen, we're in transition between the next person. Sassy Greg, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of this episode?
His name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Damn it, man. My name is Jeff. Yes, Greg Grimjack2150 on the Twitches and the Twitters. I love playing in the 80s. It's super fun. This group's great. These characters are awesome. Shannon is a perfect complement, and for the very reasons, surprisingly, that Mike just said. I like the fact that there is a call out on all the bullshit, all of the we could try this or we could try that. What? No, we should just do what we first. I love it because it helps me out a whole bunch, guys. So anyway, join me over on Twitter to find out what I'm doing. What am I going to promote? Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock, we have a special episode of May Black Roses Bloom, our D&D 5th edition Dragonlance series over on my channel. Come join us, but meet us back here. Playlist for the next episode should be up tomorrow at some point. Thank you all.
Sweet. Let's jump right over to Mike. Sorry about your mom. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of today's episode?
So I'm Mike, the Anonymous Rhino. I'm on Twitter at BaloneySlap. Man, I was not expecting to have trauma today. I was not expecting that from George. I just figured, life's easy for him. So that was nice. That was a nice change of pace, and now he's got a real dog in the fight. Besides his dad being evil, or potentially evil. So
it's true. Your mom's dead. Your dad's evil.
Not dead. Yeah.
Perfect. Speaking of perfect, having a perfect home life and a perfect family, Rob or Frags, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of today's episode?
I am Kindle, KW Frags. And, if you want to think that it's a perfect home life, you can think that. This game has opened alleyways and avenues for the whole gang, and I'm not sure where we're headed. I was thinking about halfway through why we never bit on the, hey, Mitch's dad's a robot. We should probably go figure that one out. And we continued on whatever path we're on right now. And then the more I think about it, I was like, God, that was so freaking cool. His dad was like a robot. And nobody was like, hey, we should figure out why that is. Yeah, nope, we just went on with our day doing everything and be like, remember that time Mitch's dad just came in with rocket feet and just saved him? You know, like that was a hell of a miss on our part, but you know, hey, the story goes on. I still enjoy where we're at, and what we're doing. So,
Well, Greg was like, he disappeared into the night. We're like, all right. How's a 13-year-old going to track down a robot?
Right.
yeah,
I have no idea how to track a robot.
that's just bad things, right?
That's happened with so much shit that it wasn't just a robot. It was that's hilarious.
Yep. It happens with everything that we can't physically interact with. I'm like, I don't know how to track that down. Like, I don't as an adult, and I don't know how a 13-year-old would either. I got to figure this shit out.
Not once have any of us been like, we should probably go check out the loop, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's come up a lot, and we're just kind of ignoring it.
Listen, this isn't actually Stranger Things. You can't just break into the maximum security science center. Or can we?
How would
I beg to differ because in my one shot for
Listen,
the
that's the
charity
season
event that I did a
finale.
while ago, all of the characters went in and they're
Listen.
like, we're going to go break into the loop. And I'm like, wait, really? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool.
Listen, season 1 of Stranger Things ended at Christmas. We're ending at Christmas. We gotta save something for the finale. Bob has to die.
It's gonna be Jeff. Please not Jeff. He's
gonna
gonna
be
It has to be Jeff.
Jeff has to make the ultimate sacrifice.
He leaves the house and immediately gets killed.
He comes over to like the house. You get your house back. He comes over with a pie. Like, hey, this is the furthest I've been from my stuff. You know,
I handed him his fries and he doesn't have one before he's dead.
Oh, perfect. Definitely. Last but definitely not least, Bitters, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of today's episode?
I'm Mr. Bitters, and you can find me here. This is all I do, because I don't have the emotional fortitude to do anything else afterwards.
Perfect.
Tonight was interesting. I really like to see that, like, put under pressure, the group is fracturing, and there's cracks forming, and like people are butting heads, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm digging that a lot. Guys, go check out our sponsor, Dice of Rolling. Complete set of optimized dice with optimized quantities for D&D 5e. Check them out. Super awesome. Use coupon code UMG for $1 off. And let's go raid our friends over at Happy Jacks RPG. They're playing some D&D 5e, doing, I think, Dragon Heist. So go check those guys out. Give them all your hot sticky raid love. And from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.